Hey, what's up, everybody? I haven't posted anything to the channel in a while, so I thought I'd do a quick unboxing slash review of some of the audio products that I've been listening to lately. I haven't done anything with IEMs before, so hopefully y'all enjoy seeing some IEM stuff. This is the Ziigaat Odyssey, and this is the Xenns Top Pro. These are two IEMs that I've picked up recently that I have been enjoying. Currently, right now, the Odysseys are $206 on Amazon in the US, and the T Pro are $341. So a pretty big price difference between these two, about $135. So I thought you might be interested to see kind of what the difference in price gets you in comparison with these two at least. Yeah, so let's go ahead and open them up, see what we're looking at here. We'll look at the Odysseys first. So pretty small box. Cover off. And we got the shells that I think look really cool. Let me get those close up. I really like Ziigaat's IEM shells, the appearance on the outside. I think they look really cool. You have a flat 2-pin connection there, and then you have a metal nozzle with a pretty flat place right there. So nothing trying to fit like a custom IEM. Pretty normal as far as the fit. It does have a little bit of a groove right here to fit in your ear a little bit better, and same on the other side right here, a little bit of a dip. Yeah, and then just like a mesh screen right there. So pretty normal as far as the fit, and I really like the way the faceplate looks. As far as accessories with this one, you don't get a ton. So open up this box, you get a case, which is not the highest quality case. It says Ziigaat on it, you can see that. Open it up, and you get these orange silicone ear tips, your cable, and as well as some foam tips. I am not a foam tip person, so I can't speak on the quality of those. I usually just keep those sealed up because I know they don't work with my ear. Usually when I'm listening to these, I will either use the large silicone ear tips in here, or I will use the SpinFit Omnis that I found worked really well with this. So the cable, not my favorite. It's fine. It's a normal 3.5 millimeter connection with a flat 0.78 connectors where it plugs into the IEMs. The chin cinch is kind of loose, moves around unless you're actually wearing them. The case can sometimes get caught on the edges. It didn't look like it did that time, but yeah, it's fine. So not a lot there from an accessory standpoint, in my opinion. Again, $200 for some really nice IEMs with some what I would probably say are subpar accessories. So I'm gonna leave those out, but I'm gonna put the rest of this back up. And then we can take a look at the Xenns Top Pro. Do a little bit of a comparison. And I'll probably keep saying this, but remember, the Xenns are $130 more. Set these over here. So before I open this up, I'll mention I was never a big unboxing person. I never really put a lot of stock in the unboxing experience and how I feel about a product one way or the other. But these actually have a pretty nice unboxing experience, so I thought it'd be worth going through it and showing you that difference. So it folds open like this. We're greeted with this really nice envelope. It's pretty cool. The only thing inside of it is just the documentation for the IEMs themselves. Just this. So not totally necessary, but cool that they did it that way. We'll set this off to the side. Then we're presented with our IEMs, which in my opinion are some of my favorite looking shells I've ever seen. Super pretty, kind of go back and forth between being purple or blue or green, depending on how the light is hitting them. Really love these. They have kind of this more acrylic faceplate, but then I think it's aluminum is the part that's actually most of the shell and the part that touches your ear. And then the metal nozzle, similar to how the Odyssey was. You can see we have a lot more contour, kind of custom fitting for where it goes inside of your ear. And then the vent on the top and a same flat 2-pin connector right there. So you get a case, definitely nicer than the Ziigaat case. Whether or not you like a case that's this loud to carry them around in is probably a topic you can debate. But it is nice. The zipper's nice. You get a cable that comes inside of it. The case is soft lined, and it feels a little bit bigger than other IEM cases that I've had that have been the circle case. So I don't feel like I have to wound them up as tight to get them into the case, which has been nice. So nice case. The cable, unwind it a little bit. The cable's nice. It does allow for use with recessed 2-pin connections on your IEMs, even though the T Pros aren't that. And then it also is a modular end. So we'll look at the accessories now that come in this box. Taking these ear tips out so that I can get to what I was going to show you. All right, so we have here our 2 different ends that you can use here. So this is the one for 4.4. So how that works. You can line them up with the arrow right there. Maybe I can. There we go. Plug it in, and then you take this and you screw it on and unplug it, and there you go. There's your cable. Not my favorite cable in the world. There's nothing wrong with the quality of it. I just don't think that this kind of silver and blue really matches the T Pro very well. And at this price point, it would be something I would like to see, maybe something that matches the looks a little bit more. But as far as quality is concerned, it's pretty nice and definitely better than the Ziigaat one that we just looked at. You also get a little cleaning tool. Oops, sorry, knocked into the phone. And then you also get this little clip. I've never used one of these clips before. If you do use one of these clips, you should send me a picture of what it looks like when you use it, because I really just have no idea what my use case is for that. You also get 3 different types of tips. You get these white ones that are silicone. You get some black silicone ones right here, and then you also get 2 sizes of the foam tips. So a lot more options than what you got with the Ziigaat, and you can see that they're branded Xenns, which is really nice. And I like that they have them in their own little case like this. Okay, so I think you can see here kind of what I was getting at with that $130 difference in price, your unboxing experience, but then also the just the more accessories that you get with something. But like I said, you should. It's more expensive, so you should be getting more. You know, we can debate of, you know, sounds, like, well, who prefers what? And I'm sure there are people out there that would prefer the sound of the Odyssey versus the T Pro. But it's pretty undeniable that it's a more pleasing unboxing experience and better accessories with the T Pro. And also the driver tech inside. You can see here 2 and 6. So there's 2 dynamic drivers and 6 balance armatures in the T Pro. Whereas you can see with the Odyssey, you have 1 dynamic driver and 3 balanced armatures. So twice as many drivers, Not to say it sounds twice as good because there's twice as many drivers, but it is worth noting. So for me personally on the fit, I find that the T Pros fit better, and that's mostly around the contour right here and the custom IEM fitting right there. They feel very secure in my ear. I really like how these fit in my ear. I'm usually using just the normal stock tips with them. So I usually use large ear tips, and these are the ones that I'm using, the ones that come stock with them. Really like how comfortable these are. These were not quite as comfortable, and I struggled a while with the ear tips figuring out which one to use with them. The stock silicone ones work pretty good, but I was thinking they could be enhanced with the right ear tip, and so I was trying to use the SpinFit W1, but those were just way too long. Like they just stuck out way too far, and it made the IEM stick out of my ear too far, and so I ended up trying the SpinFit Omnis, which are smaller, and they are really tight to get them over the nozzle, but I do think that they make the IEM sit more securely in my ear, and they also make it sound really good. So those are the ones I've been using most of the time with these. As far as sound, as a comparison between the two, so I'd say the T Pros are pretty, they're pretty warm, pretty bassy. I appreciate that in them. I find that the vocals come across really clear though, and that the treble is well extended, but it's not gonna be what you notice in the mix by any means. So that's fine with me. I'm someone who prefers more, I want something to sound accurate more so than being able to hear every single little detail in the treble. So these work really well for me. Worth mentioning, I listen to mostly progressive metal, indie rock, and then some modern pop as well. But usually I'm listening to something that involves, guitars, drums, bass, and vocals that are, distorted guitars. Pretty loud music in general is what I'm listening to. The Ziigats, I think, kind of operate in a similar space, but a little different. They don't have quite as much bass. They're not quite as warm as the T Pro. The vocals, to me, come across fairly similar. I don't notice a huge drop off in like where the vocals sit in the mix or how loud they are compared between the two. There's definitely more extended treble in here, and I don't know if that's more so just because the bass is lower, which is allowing those details in the treble to come through a little bit better. Sometimes during busier passages, I do notice things sound a little not as separated as I would like. So not quite as clean. And I would guess that could potentially be because of only having 3 balanced armatures that are handling those frequencies, and maybe things are just kind of meshing together that, with 6 of them over here, maybe there's a little more technology that's working to get those to you without it sounding too muffled. Yeah, I think they're both really great options. Like I said, I think these are $200 right now, and I can't think of a lot that I would rather have at that price point for $200. The Performer 5+2 by Eiffel is somewhere in that range, maybe a little bit more expensive. I think maybe last I saw they were $215. I prefer these. If you can add, if you already have ear tips that you can try with them, and if you already have a cable that you could pair with them, I think you definitely like this. The accessories are better in the P5+2, but I think I like the sound of these better. The Performer 5+2 did some weird stuff in the treble with me where cymbals on drum kits sounded really weird. And the only way I could get it to sound somewhat right was using the SpinFit CP100s for those, but even then it still wasn't perfect. Other things that you could compare to the Odyssey at 200, I don't know. I think the Performer 5+2 would be the big thing that probably I would say is kind of between those two. Maybe the Let Shure Cadenza 4. It's definitely leans more bright, but I love that one because it sits in my ear really nice and it's super comfortable. Doesn't have near as much bass as these do, but the treble is well extended and really accurate, which is what I really appreciated by the Cadenza 4. So if you like something that's a more, kind of reminds me of like what an open back headphone would be tuned like. So if you're looking for an IEM tuned like an open back headphone, I think the Cadenza 4 would be a good option instead of the Odyssey. For the T Pro, I don't have a lot of experience with other ones around in this 350 price range. I did pick up some that were a little bit more expensive, and that would be the Mega 5 EST, what everybody calls the Mega Fest. I found those, they were also kind of neutral with a bass boost, but I found them almost like lacking too much detail and a little too neutral, a little too safe for me personally. So I think these are definitely more of an exciting listen than the Mega 5 EST. I also tried the Thea Audio Oracle Mark III, and I do really like those, but I think you're looking at almost $200 more expensive than the T Pro, and I don't think it was worth that much. I know those have the electrostatic drivers, which is driving up the cost. They also didn't fit me as well. Those Oracle Mark IIIs were, they stuck out another, about that much further out. And I was going to mention, I also use these with my Hi-Fi GoPods, and whenever I put the Oracle Mark III in here, they stuck out, and I couldn't even close the GoPods totally because of how thick the shell was for the Oracle Mark IIIs. So that was annoying with those. I haven't heard the Top Pro yet to give a comparison on that. Hopefully I'll be able to get that soon, but it seems like the Top Pro is a little more, take a little bit of the bass away and extend the treble a little bit. So if you don't think you like that warm signature that these have, maybe the Top Pro would be better for you. But again, we're talking about a pretty big jump in price. I think those are $500, and where I think maybe you can find some on the used market for $420 maybe, and these are used for probably about $220 to $250, just depending on the day. Yeah, so for me, for my preferences, I think I do prefer the T Pro. Obviously, they're $130 more expensive. So whether or not it's worth it to you for that is a decision you'll have to make. If you told me I had to stay with the Odyssey and had to sell these for whatever reason, like I wouldn't be disappointed. The Odysseys are great, and I could definitely live with those being the only ones, but the T Pros are definitely my favorite. Like I said, this is my first time talking about IEMs. I have a lot of experience with them. I haven't done any videos on them yet. So y'all tell me if you like the more headphone style videos that I was doing before, if you like the IEMs. I kind of bounce back and forth on which I prefer listening to. I have a cost collection. Sometimes I'm just listening to cheap cost headphones too. Also worth mentioning, I was listening to everything using my iBasso DX180, the Hi-Fi GoPods that I mentioned before. This isn't a review for these, but these are good with some quirks. They have the GoPod Air out now, which if I was to buy these again, I'd probably just go with the GoPod Air because they're only $250, whereas this was $400 new. So, and then also my Aeon S9C DAC amp. Whenever I was listening on my computer, that's what I was using. Don't have anything else to say about it right now. If you have any questions about either of these or maybe another IEM that I mentioned while I was talking about them, feel free to leave a comment and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.